Okay, we're here with head coach Sean Nahas before the Courage make the trip to take on Louisville this week. Sean, after 4 undefeated games at home, you go on the road now for a long stretch. Just give us an insight into the team's mindset here as you get ready to head on the road.
Yeah, I think it's been good. I think, you know, home for a while, sometimes going away just reconnects the players a little bit, even though they're around each other for so long. But sometimes these trips are helpful. I think it's trying to build on the run of form we've had and continue to grow and evolve and see where it takes us, as I've always said. But the group's been fine. They've been good. The energy's been good. But yeah, there's a lot of positives that we've taken from the last month.
Turn it over to questions.
Louisville is a similar team to you guys, developing, hitting some form. What are your thoughts of how they're playing right now?
Yeah, good side. I mean, they've brought in good players, and Kim's done a good job with them. Savannah's had a really good year so far. They're dangerous in a lot of areas, but I think that's the case for most teams in the league. There's always going to be danger. It's just how do you limit that? I think it comes down to minimizing their opportunities, and us taking care of what we feel we're good at, worrying about ourselves, and then seeing where that takes us. But after 90 minutes, you could play a perfect match, and whatever happens, happens. But we want to make sure we go out and put a good performance together, and try and minimize the opportunities that they create, whether it's off the dribble or things along those lines.
Considering what Abby and Carson meant to the club, especially last year, being those leaders, coming off of all the stuff before, will it be emotional, you think, seeing them again and playing against them?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you see former players, fortunately and unfortunately for us, we have a lot of them in the league. If you look at all the players scoring goals in the league, they're our former players. But yeah, anytime you see players that have had an impact on us as a club and helped create the foundation and helped us win championships, it's always something that you think about. But I think they're with Louisville now. My focus is on the players in the locker room. I've my relationships with them. Obviously now with another club. But yeah, my sole focus is on the current players I have with us. But yeah, anytime you see former players, it's always good. But it is definitely not the same as when they're wearing your kit. That's for sure.
Speaking of goal scoring, I mean, you mentioned after the last game, that you want to see more goals, but at the same time, that you called these players babies. How is that balance from what you expected this team to be now, as far as goal scoring and everything, just considering the style that you play versus how they've really performed and still not really been beaten here in the last month?
Yeah, I think you look at the way we play, and we've laid the foundation down from keeper through the back third to the middle third, and now that final piece is the most important, and that takes time. That is the hardest thing to get across. But if you look at the opportunities that we create, they come with emptiness in the box, and we want to make sure that we're filling the boxes in certain areas, and we're doing a better job of that and committing certain numbers in certain spots. But we're creating chances, we're getting there. Now it's about putting those final stages together. But again, I go back to our performances and how we've played and the style at which we've played. We've been consistent, and I think we've been really, really good. I'd say the same thing if we hadn't scored any goals in any game. I think we've played really well, and for such a young team to be playing the way we're playing, and the style with the intricacies and the discipline and that way, which is something maybe new to the league in terms of the league always being very transitional. I think there's a lot more positives than negatives for sure, whether we're scoring goals or not.
I wanted to ask about Meredith Speck. You've talked before this season about the energy that she brings to the team, but she's gotten a good run of starts here this season, and it seems like she plays a role that you don't necessarily notice, first among the players on the field. So wondering what you think of her role this season and getting that playing time consistently, and how you think she's doing.
Oh, Mary Speck's noticed. I have the utmost respect for Mary. This is a player, when we first came, who didn't play, rarely traveled, but has always been the consummate pro, unbelievable teammate, respectful, professional. And I think her evolution the last year and a half has been tremendous. I think she's very disciplined. She understands the game. Her motor is off the charts, and it's one of those things where it's hard to not put her on the field. She trains the same way she plays, and I give the kid a lot of credit because in today's world, so many times players, when they're not playing, they may say it's not. I need to go find somewhere where I'm going to play. She's earned her stripes. So have about 4 other players on our roster, and I give those players a ton of credit. I think they need to be looked at in terms of a model of development, and I think they need to be applauded, because far too often the easy route is to leave when they've taken the hard route, and it's paying off for them. So yeah, Mary's been tremendous for us. She helps Sully so much. She helps us defensively. She covers spaces. Her ability on the ball is a lot better. I thought it was one of her better performances against Angel City. So yeah, we're thrilled with Mary, and more so because of the work we know she puts in every single day.
So there's a lot of younger players who are coming into the league right now, like teenagers, but it sounds like this cohort of players that you're talking about, it's sort of the flip side of it, right? Like the virtues of patience and having a group of players stay for a long time and wait for their turn.
Yeah, you have to remember when our players came in, we arguably had the best players in every position
Right.
in the world, right? So it's hard to break into that lineup. But they are what made us successful, because they trained every single day the way that we needed them to train. So their role, they knew their role in that regard. Not playing is hard. Not getting rostered is hard. And I'm not saying people, players want to find a different area. I completely understand that. But they chose not to. And I'm proud of them for that, because they're starting for us now and having a massive impact. And they're part of our leadership group. And, they could have chose the other route. And, people need to give them a ton of credit. 'Cause I know I do, and I have the utmost respect for her, Ryan, KK. And this is through tough years.
Yeah.
This is not through the easy stuff. This is through tough. And like I said, they need to be applauded. And the best part is that we have young players that see that. We talk about it in front of them all the time. And there's no better role models to look at than those 4 or 5 that have done that. For those young players to say, my time's going to come, but I have to keep working to earn that and get there. And our players are doing that.
Coach, just to wrap it up, we talked about the emotion of you going to see a couple of old players, but Foxy going back to Louisville for the first time. Have you said anything to her? Is there anything to say, or just let her professionally go do her thing?
I know Fox. I asked her the day, how do you feel about going back to Louisville? And her thing was, I'm fine. But that's Foxy. I'm not trying to draw anything out, just a curious question. But I know Fox for a long time, almost a decade, and she's as chill as can be, and she just wants to go perform. She's performing at a high level. But yeah, she's not that type of person she doesn't have any animosity or anything like that. She just, she's with us now, and we're thrilled to have her. But yeah, we haven't discussed it, and I won't discuss it.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you very much
Thanks,
for your time.
guys.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no problem.